こんばんは。トランスミッションの木下とるみです。さて皆さんにね前言ってましたZAZA のライブコンサートの模様なんですが、衛星第2放送でね、今度の8月に、放送するということが決まりましたので、これちょっとお知らせしておきたいと思いますが、8月の19日日曜日午前3時1分から、インタビュー込みで4時31分まで90分間にわたりまして放送しますので、皆さんもご覧ください。そしてですね、トランスミッションではその中の一部をちょっとお借りしましてね、おかけしたいと思いますので、ZAZA のどんな曲が聴きたいか、また最後のリクエストコーナーの方でねいただきたいと思います。さて今日はですね、今来日中のニック・ケイブの、とても珍しいビデオをですね、最後の、スタジオの方でフルバージョンでおかけしたいと思います。そしてもって今日ご紹介したいニューリリースのコーナーはこちらのですね、キッチンズ・オブ・ディスティンクションですね。アルバムは Love is Hell Third Time We Opened the Capsule というね、皆さんご存知の曲ももう入ってるんですけれども、改めて今回紹介したのは実は日本発売になったということなんですね。で、私ももう一度ね聞いてみたらなかなかいいんじゃないかなということで、皆さんにお勧めしているわけなんですけれども、彼たちというのは3人編成でとてもシンプルなんですけどもね、ジョイ・ディビジョンもカバーやっちゃうっていうぐらいのね、とってもメロディアスないいグループなので、皆さんぜひぜひ聴いてくださいね。では、とりあえずはですね、久々のトランスミッションチャートから参りましょう。どうぞ。さあ久々のチャートですが、まず10位はレイミーダウンで、こちらの方はモクタートルズが10位で入ってまいりました。そして今週9位ですね、レゲエのサウンドをちょっと取り入れました、セントエティエンヌ Only Love Can Break Your Heart です。こちらは年齢不詳ですね。センスレスフィングス今週8位 Is It Too Late。久々ですね。どうしてるんでしょうか。今週7位、ディフラントバームはレモンヘッズです。先週お届けしましたね、カーターズ・アンストッパブル・セックス・マシーンなんですが、こちら6位でこの曲で入ってまいりました。ガラリ変わりまして、今週5位ポリス・オブ・トゥルースを歌うのはもちろんデペッシュモード。このグループ結構おすすめなんですけれどもね、ノースサイドで Shall We Take a Trip。トランスミッションチャートベスト3、こちらの方はハッピーマンデーズ and カール・デンバーということなんですが、来日楽しみですよね。
He's asked just as what he wants. Just as what he wants.
ワールドカップサッカーイギリス勢は第4位でしたけれども、その応援歌を歌いますニューオーランワールドインモーション、今週2位でした。そしていよいよ第1位ですけれどもね、こちらの方は The Only One I Know で、マンチェスターのニューカマーチャーラタンズ。さて、ティーンエイジファンクラブはミュージックプレスにまたしても次の大物と目されております。元ボーイヘアドレッサーズのメンバーが2人と元 BMX バンテツのメンバー1人を含む彼らはデビュー LP アカストリックエデュケーションを出したばかり。
And I suppose that just sort of came to a natural end, and it didn't split up, or well, maybe it kind of did, but it just kind of petered out in the life of me and Norman. So we sort of got the band together, you know, just decided to record an album, you know. So that was how it came about, really. And then we met Brendan.
Changed your life? Yeah. I wasn't really down. I'm a lot younger than them because they were older. And
Brendan's too young to have a history.
I was just sort of college and stuff like that. Then I was in a wee couple of few bands, like not really very good, but then met them. That was it.
Well, me and Raymond were in the Boy Hairdressers and
just sort of played around with various bands, you know, but none really to sort of speak of.
Well, I suppose when we sort of got together, it was like a time when nothing was happening really, and when what we were doing was just really we did because we thought that was good. I mean, a lot of people do things and you can tell they just try to catch on, like grab on to something that's past. You know, when we kind of recorded that LP, there was nothing happening really. So maybe it just comes across that we're not really sort of getting caught up and trying to jump on some bandwagon or something. Maybe that comes across, I don't know.
I was under the impression there's been one or two gigs that have been really shambolic. I mean,
yeah, they have. I mean, it's like we did one in London at the Falcon, which was supposed to be really shambolic. But I mean, what happened there was like we burst the guitar string, and then I mean, it's just a small place and with a vocal PA, and like you couldn't hear anything, you know. So, I mean, shambolic in that sense of it. you know, obviously shambolic, you
I
know.
thought you were shambolic because you were drunk.
We weren't that drunk, you know what I mean? I mean, we were drunk, but I mean, that shouldn't really, I mean, it didn't really affect our performance. We played well enough, we thought, didn't we? We were very good that night.
And I think we did go down really well that night, but
Yeah.
it was just, I think maybe it's just whoever wrote about it is their sort of point of view that, you know, they didn't really like that kind of band, but there was a lot of sort of people who actually enjoyed it, you know. We enjoyed it as well. So
Yeah, I mean, we did a good
that's what it's all about, I think.
But you don't change. I don't notice you changing. I think about it every day, but only for a little while, and then feel it.
はい、なんかまたまたね気になる新しいバンドが出てまいりましたが、ティーンエイジファンクラブ、名前も可愛いですけれどもね。さあ、ねこの間はプライマルスクリームのライブ私も行ってきましたけれども、それでお便りいただいてます。川崎市の橋本きっこさんですね。広島さんこんにちは。どうもこんにちはです。7月4日のプライマルスクリームいらしてましたね。はいはい。私はローディートでボビーのファンになったんですが、会場には何人ものボビーのそっくりさんがいて驚きました。私もびっくりしました。なんかねボビーを意識した男の子たちが多いんでね、びっくりしましたけれども、そしてですね一番前でビデオを撮ってましたが、どこかでもテレビで放送されるのでしょうかということなんですけど、これはいい質問ですね。実は衛星第2放送の方でね放送することになりました。ちょっとまだいつするのかわかんないんですけども、プリミティブスとともにですね、UK を代表するアーティストとして衛星第2の方でね放送しますので、またいつかわかりましたらお届けしたいと思いますけれどもね。まあ私のですね、ボビーの印象といいますか、とにかく髪を切っちゃって、しかもサッカー青年のようなねストライプの可愛い T シャツを着てたんで、もう唖然というかびっくりだったんですけどもね、翌日のライブではオーディエンスのしかも男の子にボビーが一生懸命キスをしてたということなんですね。びっくりしたという感想がね多く返ってまいりました。とにかくですね、もうノリノリのライブだったんですけれども、裏話はですねまた後日お届けしたいと思います。楽しみにしておいてくださいね。では次はインスパイラルカーペットです。
This must be some kind of fear. It's just this fear, the fear I have to know about you. You should learn to watch, you learn to watch before you fall. You should learn to watch, you learn to watch before you fall. You should learn to watch. crawl. You don't walk, you crawl. You don't walk, you crawl. Here she comes.
Here's this
さあ
week's
今
new
週のニュー
releases.
リリースですよ。スペースメン3のジェイソンのバンドスピリチュアライズドはデビューシングル Anyway That You Want Me をデディケイティドレコードからリリースしました。そしてフェイスオーバーレイズンはビッグキャットから同名タイトルの LP をリリースしてますね。イギリス人とフランス人の組みましたザ・ポレンはダンステリアからリバー・オブ・ライフをこれまたリリースいたしました。そしてザ・ニーバンスは同じレーベルからプレイブルーをこれまたリリース。そしてラリダレコードはボロブドゥールというコンピレーション LP を発表。評価の高いボブやペニー・キャンドルス、ヘブンリー、パラシュートメンやジョン・カーニングハムの曲が入っております。それから新しいビデオも2本ほど発売中。ワンダースタッフの11アパリングプロモスという面白い題がチャンネル5ビデオから出ております。そして今週のコンペティションでプレゼントすることになっているのはクリエーションレコーズコンピレーション、パッドのバンドその他数多くのセレクションのビデオです。最後にまたラリダレコーズに戻ります。ハーモニー・ベンズ・メイク・ファイバーデビューシングルをリリース。彼らにとって今年初めに初めて LP を出して以来のレコードになりました。
Out of your mind, says her body now every time. For it's time for me to return to the life I could never really leave behind. The only mistake it seems I made was to get too close to her. From the start that we'd have to part, I took it all in the most growing up way. But if there was something I could say to make her change her mind and stay, I know I'd do it anyway. But the only mistake it seems I made was to get too close to her. Close to her, too close to her. The only thing that I can find to ease the pain that comes from living on borrowed time is that I'm pretty sure I did everything the right way round. Yes, I got close enough when it was required, but the only mistake it seems I made.
Power of
パ
Dreams
ワーオブ
are
ド
an
リームは
impressive
ダブリン出身で今はロンドンで活動している実力ある3人組、クライグ・ウォーカーとケース・ウォーカーが2年ちょっと前にバンドを結成して以来ハウス・オブ・ラブと長期にわたるツアーを行いまして、最近ではワイヤーとのミニツアーも成功のうちに終了しました。ミュージックプレイスからは90年代最も期待されるバンドの一つと評価されています。最新シングル A Hundred Ways to Kill a Love に続きまして LP Immigrants, Emigrant and Me も出しております。ちょっと長いですね。ではこちら。
The three of us from like a young age got together and started like with an interest in music. Really just like got ourselves some instruments and stuff, and we're really into like getting a band together and stuff like that. We've been signed like within the last 6 months. It didn't take us too long to be signed. We got signed through our first single and stuff with good reviews, which we didn't expect to happen so quickly. after just one single. We didn't have to like struggle like for a couple of years or stuff like, because we're being only like involved 2 years or so, and to be signed like so quick, so it's really good, I think. There was this perception in England that like there's something great happening in Dublin, and due to that, a lot of people come over and see bands, and it happened to us. And I mean, a lot of the bands that were around, even like this time last year, are gone, and like we're one of the few that got signed. I think there's probably 3 or 4 out of a whole batch that got signed. So it wasn't down to the fact that there was loads of great bands. It was just that the enormous people and companies were interested in coming over to see bands. When you're in London, you're closer to the things that like in Dublin, you're so far away from what's happening. Like Dublin is so small. Like there's not very many music papers. So obviously it's not. You're not going to get much profile over there. So over here you've got the big magazines. You've got television programs to do stuff like that. Bigger venues, a lot of people to play to and stuff like that, which is like a lot better. I think it's more important that the actual companies themselves are based in London. All the record companies are based in London. Our company's in London as well. So it's just proven very hard to communicate because we couldn't see what was happening. I mean, we wanted a lot of control over artwork and sleeves and videos, but it just wouldn't be possible, you know, living in Dublin because you just weren't there at hand to see what was happening. I think part of the reason why we left Dublin was because it was becoming that because it was such a small place. Like you couldn't go out without people, you know, just talking about the band constantly. And when coming to London, it's been a lot healthier because I mean, when we're doing something for the band, it's band, and when it's not the band, it's grand. It's not talked about non-stop. I mean, we were even getting that from the family because I mean they were so excited. They were just talking about the band constantly as well. We just, you know, we'd sit at dinner and they'd be talking about the band. Just couldn't cope with it any longer, you know. But it's different here. Like I mean, as soon as we get home, like it's just forgotten about it. And we talk about it occasionally, but it's, you know, it's not everything. I mean, it's a main part, but it's not everything. I think success. It's hard to really define. I think it's more what we'd be searching for would be to make the albums that we want to make, and in the process, if people like it, it's you know, it's good. But we don't want to make music for somebody else. I mean, if we're happy, it's the main thing we want is for us all to be happy with the music ourselves. And if a lot of people like it, and you know, and we like it, then it's great. But if a certain amount of people only like it, well then, you know, well and good anyway. But it's not just, we're not just going out to become successful. Obviously, it's you know, it's a big part, but I mean, it's not. I mean, I didn't get into it for this. You know, it wasn't like I want to sell loads of records. We've had like mixed reaction. Like in Ireland, like we've insurance, men who come to the gig like and have kids, and then we've like, you know, 15 and 16-year-old kids as well. So I mean, it's completely different, you know, type of audience. We've old punks going to the gigs and, you know, indie kids, so it's just a mixed bag really. I think we're probably just sick of supporting it at the moment, so I don't think there's any, but I think a lot of bands, when you start, like, you know, probably one of the things you say is that it'd be great to support so and so and so, but I mean, when you do actually do it, it just becomes a bore. After supporting 2 or 3 bands, you just realise that, you know, you just want to get out and do your own tour, like start your own tour. I mean, if a gig is going well, like, you only have half an hour, and towards, like, the last 2 songs will be brilliant. It's just frustrating when suddenly people are dancing and, you know, you someone decide telling to get off, so it's just annoying.
It's your life, it's your love, and it's your memories. Don't forget your friends, always stay in touch. You're gonna need them someday. You said you really cared, you said you really tried, and yes, I believed you. But when you said yes, did you mean no? Couldn't believe you. And there's 100 ways.
今日は嬉しいなんかねパワーオブドリームズが、インタビューで出てきてくれましたけどね、今日はね思い切って録画タイミングかななんて思ってますけども、さて、なんとタイミングがいいんでしょうね。今日はですねハーモニービーズメイクがねビデオクリップで登場しましたけれども、こちらの方とあとはですね出来たてのほやほやのね7インチシングルなんですが、こちらの方には特典が入っておりましてね、これよいしょ見ますとですね日本の方だけに OK なんですが、このアンケートに答えますと T シャツとかね、あとLP が当たっちゃうということなんですけどもね、これは嬉しいですね。あとですね彼たちがランチの際にいろいろとスタッフの方が教えてあげたことっていうのがね、数字の数え方なんですって。12345っていうところまではね数えたらしいんですけれどもね、これも一生懸命ね覚えたみたいですよ。あとですねさすがイギリス人ですね、ランチした時にちょうどワールドカップやってましてね、その結果がもうすごく気になってたみたいですね。でもイギリスのねお友達なんかに、録画しといてねっていうことで頼んできたらしいので、本人たちもね今はイギリスに帰ってワールドカップのね結果をじっくり見てると思いますよ。そしてですね、ファンもそして本人たちもとっても嬉しかったのは、今までパブでやってた時っていうのはね30分ぐらいしかせいぜい、オンステージできなかったんですけれども、今回1時間もやったということですね。さあ今出ましたけど、こちらはハイというグループなんですが、これはですね、次にビデオクリップで登場するんですけれども、なんとインスパイラルカーペッツのオープニングアクトでスカウトされてロンドンレコーズからデビューしたというこちらです。ご覧ください。 さてコンペティションの時間です。今週のニューリリースでお知らせした通り、クリエーションレコーズコンピレーションビデオを5本プレゼントいたします。このビデオにはクリエーションのバンドのビデオが16本、それにビデオの間にレーベルについてのちょっとした情報が入ってますよ。収録されているのはウェザープロフェッツ、マイブラディバレンタイン、あの偉大なるジャズブッチャー、ハウスオブラブ、モーマス、その他たくさんのバンド。そこで質問はですね、クリエーションの前にマイブラディバレンタインの所属しておりました2つのレーベルのうち1つを書いて送ってくださいとのことです。皆さんお分かりいただけましたか？応募の方よろしくお願いいたしますね。
さてマーク・スチュワートはさまざまに形容されてきた人ですが、彼は何よりも改革者。彼が70年代後期から80年代初頭にかけてポップグループとともにしてきたことは時代よりはるかに進んでいました。以来彼は裏の社会で起こっている現実を入念に調査することに没頭。明るい仕事ではないですが、誰かがやらなくてはいけないことでしょうね。彼は4枚目のソロ LP をリリースしたばかりでして、またしてもマフィアと名付けられました彼のバンドのサポートを受けてラウドでノイジーなサウンドを展開しています。ダンスミュージック バヤリの昨今のことですから、ダンスフロアで彼の曲がかかるなんてこともひょっとしたらあるかもしれません。
My part in it is from the minute go, from like thinking up the tunes, the bass lines, the whole sound, all the way through from minute go, from like the first drum sound through all the way through to production. Like, you know, manufacturing the whole essence of the sound, everything. People say that certain songs are political, certain songs aren't political, but if you look into the detail of the songs, they're all about specific personal things or personal alienation or certain feelings about things. It's still exactly the same feelings. I don't really feel like a performing monkey. Do you know what I mean? I just do what I do. Do you know what I mean? If you know, if like one night I feel like standing there and doing, you know, I'm communicating. I'm not just kind of jumping up and down or wearing a bird outfit or anything. Do you know what I mean?
You are often described as a loony or a paranoid, which, you know, I don't think you are.
That's absolute rubbish. I mean, it's maybe come from one interview with like somebody from the NME from like 5 years ago or something, when I was trying to explain to him about how the internal security network in England is controlled. If there was going to be a civil war, the main place to hit is the microwave transmitters, because if all the telephones went down, all the security people would communicate through the microwave transmitters, like on Telecom Tower and on the specific sites where they are. And this bloke must have been a loony, because he thought I was talking about microwaves that you do your cooking in. Do you know what I mean? He's like...
What are your sources of information for that kind of thing?
I've got a lot of friends who are either journalists, researchers, or they write for like what you'd call underground magazines. I've got friends throughout the world who send me like strange, you know, every week I get like batches of funny clippings through the post about, there's a magazine in America called Covert Action, there's one in England called Lobster, which is all, they're just basically about things you wouldn't find out about in the press. I mean, there's this Colin Wallace affair, I don't know if you've been following it, about how they try to destabilise the Labour government, Harold Wilson's Labour government. I've had that information for like 5 or 6 years, and now it's coming through into the mainstream press. Do you see what I mean?
Right. Why does that kind of thing take so long to reach the mainstream press?
Because the people who own the mainstream press are the same people who finance the political parties. So there's vested interests throughout the whole hierarchy. And the only things that reached, like this Colin Wallace affair, they were using the mainstream press to try and discredit Harold Wilson. People in MI5 were feeding things through to the mainstream press, and they were just inventing press stories. Like often, if you read The Sun or something, you find these press stories which have just been basically invented about some Labour Party's mistress or something, or such and such a person is gay, or such and such a person owes money to a councillor, owes money or something. It's disinformation. He's strong-minded himself, but he's just like a very, he's prepared to experiment and listen to help other people create what they want as much as, pushing what he wants. Do you see what I mean? Mm. And it's more, everybody's like established a friendship between the whole thing. He doesn't do a lot of, Adrian has been offered so many sessions and production jobs, and he'd rather work with somebody he gets on with and somebody he respects than go out and earn thousands and thousands doing somebody else. Do you see what I mean?
渋いですね。マーク・スチュワートでしたけれどもね、彼はスペインに行ったことで今回のアルバム作りのコンセプトというか音楽性が変わったということを前に言っておりましたけれども、旅ってやっぱり偉大なパワーを持ってるんですね。さて、今来日中といえばニック・ケイブなんですけれども、名古屋、違いますね、大阪に入りまして名古屋、そして東京に来るんですけれどもね、最後にお約束した通りニック・ケイブの非常に珍しいビデオをね5本にもわたるフルバージョンでおかけしたいと思いますけれども、ニックがですねこんなコメントを残してくれました。僕は今旅中毒になりつつある。もう故郷には12年近くも帰ってなくて、このところブラジルにすごく魅力を感じているんだ。僕が思うにブラジルの人っていうのは世界一カリスマ的な人種だよということなんですが、ニック・ケイブってでも日本人のことってどう思ってるのかな。今度ねその辺のところをねコメントしてもらいたいですよね。ではお約束しました通りニックのフルバージョンでお別れ。バイバイ。
They came and took me from my home and put me in dead row, of which I'm nearly wholly innocent of. And I say again, I am not afraid to die. Over to warm and chill, to objects in their fields, a ragged cup, twisted mop, the face of Jesus in my soup, the sinister dirty deals, the real truddy wicked wheels, a hook bone rising from my food, all things either good or ungood. And mercy seat is awaiting, and I think my head is burning, and in a way I'm yearning to be done with all this measuring of proof. But eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, and anyway I've told the truth, and I'm not afraid to die. Turbid sounds and catalog, a black tooth, the scarlet frog, the walls of bad black bottom kind. They are the sick breath at my hind. They are the sick breath at my hind. They are the sick breath at my hind. They are the sick breath devil at my hind. I hear stories from the chamber. Christ was born into a manger, like some ragged stranger died upon the cross. And might I say, it seems so fitting in its way. He was a carpenter by trade, or at least that's what I'm told. Like my good hand tattled evil across his brother's fist. That filthy five, they did nothing to challenge or resist. In heaven his throne is made of gold, the ark of his testament is stone, the throne from which I'm told all history does unfold. Down here it's made of a wood and wire, and my body is on fire, and God is never far away. Into the mercy seat I climb, my head is shaved, my head is wide, like the moth that tries to enter the bright eye. So I go shuffling out of life, just to hide in death a while. Anyway, I never lie. My killing is called evil. Where's a wedding band that's good? 'Tis a long-suffering shotgun, coloring all that devil blood. And the mercy seat is a burning, and I think my head is glowing. And in a way I'm hoping to be done with all this weighing up of truth. An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, and I've got nothing left to lose, and I'm not afraid to die. And the mercy seat is awaiting, and I think my head is burning. In a way I'm yearning to be done with all this measuring of proof. An eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth, and anyway there was no proof, and nor a move. Why the mercy seat is awaiting, and I think my
Music Box. Music Box. Music Box.